And now a message from the National Encephalitis Foundation.
Hello, this is Bob Odenkirk.
And this is Bob Odenkirk as well.
Wow.
Yeah, right off the bat.
How about that? I've got a lot of rain.
No one knows where encephalitis comes from or what.
We're here to talk you through these episodes. A lot of people don't know, one, that this is a comedy show, and we should get that out of the way right up front.
Just comedy, and it's for laughs. And a lot of people, too, don't make it through.
They think this drama sucks.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think these people are believable.
I don't buy into these characters. I don't believe they're...
I don't like this font.
Yeah.
I don't like this logo.
Right. And they just abandon the show. And I think that with us here coaching... By the way, that's Adam from Tool. We're going to point out people in the audience.
There's Maynard and Adam from Tool.
And Maynard, the lead singer. And who else is in that audience? This is our first show, our first TV show.
Yeah, and we filmed this at a restaurant, bar, disco-y place.
Yeah, this is not a TV studio. We couldn't afford a TV studio. There's a lot of things we couldn't really afford. That's one reason we're the hosts.
Yeah, we could barely afford your suit.
Yeah.
Look at that set. That was nice.
You asked for.
I'm still suing us for back pay.
How's that going?
I don't know.
Really? Who's your lawyer?
I was kind of hoping you'd show up today with a lot of cash.
Well, I mean, I've paid you over and over again.
Whatever you wanted.
Right. Well, we'll talk about it later.
Need a suggestion for a show? Anybody a suggestion for a show? Anybody?
As you can see, we're very excited, and there we are in our own audience.
There's Laura Keitlinger and Mitch Rouse.
Yeah.
And that's Bob and I setting the tone for what will be 4 years of wonderfully Emmy Award missing comedy.
Yeah.
You know, you can see my glasses set a tone for a nation.
Okay, all right, you're right. Let's show them why.
You know, we seem pretty self-assured. We've done the show in theaters 5 times. We've done different versions of Mr. Show in the theaters.
And let me point out right there, we're riffing. That even though it's a scripted TV show, those lines were just ad-libbed. About bring your asses, did you bring your asses, let's do some ass knocking. Totally riffed.
And David sings a song to or for Hitler.
Yeah, it's actually Hitler.
It's Hitler singing.
Yeah, who's sad and introspective.
If I stumble upon.
And then there's a little bit of showbiz there, a little bit of movement. Mm-hmm. You just don't get this on TV. You just don't get this kind of entertainment.
Folks, there's something you should know about.
And then I intrude.
He attended public schools, and
it's a well-composed shot. I like that.
Famous Mortimer, our director, who directed all our live stuff.
Yeah, and tape stuff and film stuff.
Put so much time into this, and I wish he was here. He's going to join us later, as well as some of our other friends who helped on the show. A lot of the cast members are going to join us on these DVDs to talk about the scenes and their experience.
Okay, you ready?
I'm just going to wait for it to go back around.
Okay. How much time we got?
About 55 seconds.
We're going to have our acting coach joining us, David. Mm-hmm. Orville Duberville Lavignon.
Yeah, awesome guy who taught us to hover above the character.
Gentlemen.
Oh, hello.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're just singing your praises.
There they are.
I just want to point out that is the first of our high fives, and there's a contest if you can count all the high fives in all 4 seasons of Mr. Show.
I was against it. I felt it was crude and common.
Yeah, cheap trick.
But as actors, I coached you through this entire production, and I think I did a pretty good job, if I do say so myself. I been doing a lot of voice work at the time when you called me, and look at how green you were.
Yeah, we were, but look at that phenomenal change in your posture and...
Right.
You know,
acting is posture, David. Mm-hmm. And as you can see there,
by
you're not...
posture, I meant Bob's.
You're not doing very much acting.
I don't understand.
My comments today are brought to you by Mrs. Whiffles, Frozen Dinners. Whiffles! When you want an egg roll, and you want it cold, and then you want to heat it up. Whiffles. Cold, frozen egg rolls.
Eatable egg rolls.
I can't read this copy. It's a mess.
Well, we're actually
Thank you, Mr. Lavignon.
Thank you.
He'll join us again later.
but not anymore. They used to be nice guys, but...
We'd done the show 5 times in theaters around L.A., and HBO executives had come to see us, and a lot of the pieces in the first 4 episodes had been done in front of audiences before, and we just redid them, so they were kind of...
And HBO, we should
tested.
point out, the HBO executives were the only people that we let in for free because they had no money. So, like, we'd have to charge our friends, but we always kicked a little... Oh, there's a phone.
Kicked a little ass.
Kicked a little to the side for HBO.
And that's John Ennis you just saw. Tell them about John Ennis.
John Ennis is a friend of mine from Boston. We were in a sketch group together, a couple sketch groups, as well as, of course, we were both on SNL during the Robert Downey Jr., Anthony Michael Hall years, and that's where you might know John from. And John and I met, and there's our budget right there. That was the budget for that show, that Butterfly. We would always get $20 in unmarked bills, and then we'd convert it to English pounds because
Oh, that was cool when I get run over.
Yeah, that was the first of Troy's kind of magic filmmaking on a shoestring budget. Troy Miller is our director.
Famous Mortimer directed the live stuff.
Yeah. And Troy was the director of the film stuff and producer on the show as well.
Did a fantastic job, an amazing job for no money. Really, really amazing.
Yeah, I was telling him that Butterfly was our budget for
that wasn't
show.
a real butterfly. We had that butterfly
that was handcrafted.
Handcrafted, and then computerized, and then made into a real butterfly, and then killed, stuffed, and then carved into wood.
Yeah, and then photographs of that carving run through a computer, and then given to
incredibly long and unnecessary process that really helped make the show great.
Yeah.
So is this scene based on anything? This is pretty crazy.
From an idea I had when I was talking to Louis C.K., which came from an idea he had, and then I just kind of extrapolated about, people who try to claim something on a bet that nobody agreed to. And of course, it really telescopes out from there with your character.
This is it. You fuckers are gonna believe it now. Okay.
It's the first. How many priests did you play?
For the comedy scholars in the audience, I think that Mr. Show did a few things that were really unique to our show, and this is one of them, which is it's like a story sketch about people that isn't about anything in the news, or it's not obviously based on any known characters. It's just creating some people.
Well, we should point out that all of our sketches, were based on real news stories from Canada.
Well, that's true.
But just not
I thought
American.
Everyone knew that.
I don't think so.
Don't you read the Canadian papers?
We get a daily that comes out of Nova Scotia, and then we would just take from there and we do sketches.
Right. But in this case, it was based on some fantasized people.
Yeah. Who we brought to life with the help of our acting coach. Oh, here he is.
Did someone mention me? Yes, I look upon this and young David Cross. Do you remember that I made you do your scales before you did this?
Yeah, there's no piano ever. I never play piano.
I know,
but
I want that musicality in your voice. And
right.
Bob, I had run on a treadmill, so I'd have him scream for a half an hour before each show, so that he had that raspy, desperate yelp that he delivered all of his lines in the same sort of monotone, kind of groaning, thin, reedy voice, pathetic, hollow tone.
With you as the MC.
Bob, you want to say anything in defense of that?
I thought I showed a lot of range in the show, but it is true that I was yelling a lot.
Yes, it's
But you told us to yell. You always.
Yes, I always said yell and scream and waste those voices before you get on the stage.
Now.
And here you can see this is acting here.
Yeah, because I weigh over 280 pounds.
And
it's hard to do.
You can see Bob just hardly acts as though it's light as a feather.
Yeah.
My comments just now brought to you by Mrs. Wiffle's Frozen Kitchen. When you want a pizza that's hot, that was cold, purchase a Wiffle's Frozen Pizza and heat it up in your oven. This is garbage. These slogan is garbage. I can't do it.
All right, you really don't have to. This
Thank
is not.
you,
Yeah,
Mr.
it's neither the
Levinson.
time or place for the Mrs. Whipple ads.
He has to do that, David.
Why?
Well, he's sponsored or something. Look how insane this is. Now, this is why people say, you guys were on drugs when you did that show. Because of moments like that where a character just sings and then... It's really...
Well, what? Now, I know here you were on a little crystal meth, and then when we leave and you start doing your monologue, which is coming up in a second, then you were high on some, like...
We never did any drugs when we worked on the show.
Never.
Never.
That's true.
Because, you know what? It's just way too hard. And...
We do drugs after the
to
show.
get good drugs. And... but, you know, we just didn't. I can't, you know, I don't take it as an insult, but a little bit, because I feel like, you know, don't these scenes make sense, and aren't they smart, and don't they show a lot of effort? I always hate it when comedy writers say to us,
Are you high right now?
well, now I am.
Yeah, I mean, to say
because
something
it's only
like that.
fun. Why, you have to be high to watch it.
I do regret that. Not trying to be flip, but it would be nice to watch the show not knowing what's coming up next, you know? Like never having watched
Yeah.
it and get high and go, oh,
It must be particularly fun to watch it that way.
Great. What else you got, man?
Let's see.
Well, we've kind of forgotten what comes up next. Now, what's next here?
oh,
Yeah, they're all checking out different
it's
videotapes.
Change for a Dollar.
And then, is it?
Yeah. And we got a good story about Change for a Dollar, how that came about, which was part of our live show. Change for a Dollar, not the concept of, you know, going to the bosses and going up the chain of command, but this sketch came out of when Bob and I were doing the live shows. The first show we ever did, we were going to have caricatures. Is that the right word? Caricatures? Caricatures of ourselves being... And we went down to the Santa Monica Pier to find somebody, couldn't find anybody. And that was going to be our artwork. And then a friend of ours, Dana Gould, goes... you know, I was telling him, you know, what we were looking for. He goes, oh, a friend of mine, I won't mention his name, does caricatures. You know, it was going to be me and Bob and Brian Posehn. And our show back then was called The Three Goofballs with a Z. And so I call this guy who I had met once before, and I go, hey, it's David Cross. You know, Bob Odenkirk and I are doing this sketch show, and we were wondering, you know, Dana told us you do caricatures, and, you know, if you could just whip off a couple for us really quick. We thought it'd be a funny art, you know, like for the front of a program. He's like, okay, yeah. And this guy's kind of full of shit on the phone, and then he goes, okay, yeah, let's see. I was like, so how much would that be? And he goes, okay, let's see, how many of there are you? 3. Okay. He starts doing that on the phone, and I started laughing, and I had to hit the mute button, and the whole time I'm waiting for him to finish doing it, because it's really fake. He's just pretending to do some weird calculation that caricaturists do based on how big our head is or something like that. And he's just really selling
World's
it.
greatest grandpa.
Yep, that's true. And he's just really selling this bullshit. Like, let me think. Okay, how many? 3? Yeah, 3. When do you need to buy? It doesn't matter. Like 2 weeks from now. Oh, 2 weeks. Just this craziness, and the whole time I'm like, I can't wait to tell Bob. I've got the mute button going because I'm laughing, and then he finally goes, hung up. $75. I go, okay, great. I'll get back in touch with you. And hung up the phone. Never called him again. Just told Bob. We ended up writing the sketch, and it was great. And we just went. He gave us a sketch. And we went to somebody else who, you know, charged us like $30 because it took 7 minutes, you know, and
God, I'm an idiot.
it was really funny.
I'm gonna have to call off.